Hi guys, just wanted to do my review of Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 3, Good Out Here. Based on, I won't have time to do a reaction video. I wasn't able to put a reaction video up because of technical difficulties. But, so just to sum up the episode, this show seems to be taking, the season seems to be taking a page out of Arrow, in which present day and flashback scenes are juxtaposed with one another, and we're going to, I guess it's going to be a whole thing about option about how we got here kind of thing. Um, with Madison and Nick going out to find more food after they had to burn all the crops that were affected by the weevils. Running into blue bonnets. How Madison talks about how she tries to find, you know, take notes of like little positive things, especially in the post-apocalyptic world. While Nick becomes more cynical and feels like the world that they're in has brought the new post-apocalyptic world they're in brings out the worst in them. And along the way, trying to find food sources, they bump into a member of the Vulture, Enos, who is basically has cleared them out, who's been clearing out any potential food sources because they had Charlie as a spy. Steal one of the walkie-talkies from the stadium, and so they've gotten a heads up knowing that who's from the stadium is going out to look for food sources, and basically taunts Nick and Madison, saying that he's the one that's taught Charlie everything she knows, and even though Madison and Nick try to tell her she doesn't have to stay with them, and how, especially Nick saying how he's not able to provide for his family, which Nick's so pissed off that he has Enos and knife point, and Madison just tells him to stand down while they try to continue to find food sources, and they find this like field of blue bonnets, and he have this flashback where they kind of this flashback later in the episode where he's lying in the field trying to enjoy it for what it is. Well, in present day, you have Al trying to Al begging on her behalf and the behalf of Dory and Morgan, to let them go and to take them to. And he says, "You know what? I'll agree to take you to where we found the sign willingly in exchange for their stories." But in terms of the conflict in the SWAT van, as along with bumping, seeing walkers on the freeway, the whole commotion leads to Luciana losing control of the SWAT van and driving it off the road into a ditch where it gets stuck. And so the group we have like Strand and Luciana and Alicia and Al going out to find a truck that's going to be able to tow the SWAT truck out of the ditch, while Morgan stays behind to guard Nick. And they basically get into this whole fight when Nick sees Enos's El Camino, and it leads to this horn, like the horn of the SWAT van definitely breaking, and bring and alerting to all the walkers nearby, to the point where Morgan is left by himself to face him alone, and Nick, too consumed in his vengeance, is not even going to bother to help him. That he follows the Camino to a nearby town, but in spite of Morgan's injured leg, is able to catch up with Nick and save him from nearly dying from a horde of walkers. And Morgan tries to get Nick to open up about why he's going down the path of vengeance. Nick tries to turn it around and make him open up to him about he watched like Morgan's video with Al saying, "I lose people, I lose myself." Neither one of them kind of wants to break down their emotional barriers, and Morgan tries to be a mentor to Nick, saying that going down the path of vengeance you're on is not going to turn out the way you think. You're not going to find some measure of peace through what you're doing. But Nick basically implies that Morgan's going to have to kill him in order to stop him, but Morgan says that he doesn't kill so anymore. So he, knowing that he ultimately doesn't, so that when, in spite of Morgan kind of trying to intervene between Enos and Nick, that the latter ends up killing the former, and Morgan gives Nick the book that he kept on him called The Art of Peace, and wants to hopefully act as a mentor to him, but after the event, but after the events of the rest of the gang, getting the SWAT van out and catching up with Nick and Morgan because of a trail that the latter left behind. Nick is reading. Um, Nick he's reading The Art of Peace. He's looking at a blue bonnet that he's kept on him, and all of a sudden we hear a gunshot, and we realize that he's just been shot by Charlie. He falls to the ground. Blood's coming out of his mouth, and she runs off, almost kind of like horrified. I guess like that she just shot Nick, and she runs off before Madison and Lucy can catch her, and they're just trying to keep Nick alive and tends to his wounds, but he ultimately succumbs to them and dies while they Morgan and Al and Dory kind of stand by, feeling bad for what happened, but of course, Nick's, Luciana, Victor Strand, Luciana, they're all, they were the ones that closest to Nick, so of course they're like breaking down over his death, and I was surprised that it's like he got killed, that he got killed off, especially 3 episodes in, but then I later learned that his actor was wanted to leave the show, not only to pursue other projects, presumably closer to home. He's from Europe, I think Britain, I think. So he wanted to, I guess, like pursue projects closer to home. So that's why he was killed off so early in the season. And so, I mean, how frequently we're going to be seeing him in flashbacks, and the flashback portion of season 4 remains to be seen. And just exactly what's going on in present day, that it's just sort of like how everything's going to like come full circle, because like I said, it's going to be the big mystery that's going to be season 4. One thing I'm hoping that happens is that we see Morgan interacting with more people from the stadium, and maybe share a scene together with Kim Dickens, assuming, I guess, like Kim Dickens is still alive in present day, and Madison and Clark, I should say, and also, Coleman Domingo, who plays Victor Strand, keeps talking about you need to turn in tonight, the character's undergone such a transformation, and I didn't see like a huge transformation so far. I mean, granted, it's implied that he's obviously not acting like the selfish con artist that he was before, but I still like to see more of that, transition, or whatever that transition we can, given the time jump between seasons 3 and 4. But anyway, guys, so far I'm really liking season 4. I like it kind of feels like it's gone through, the tone that it's going for, and it feels like these characters are truly developed, how they've developed, between the in between seasons, or just like these between the flashbacks and present day will be interesting. It feels like it feels fresh, especially just from coming off of not just season 3, but also coming off of The Walking Dead, where we had this like 2-year storyline with Rick and company finding the Saviors, and since the spin-off is not based on anything that's happening in the comic books or any comic book characters, there's a sense of like unpredictability, and the showrunners and actors, they have kind of like liberty to do what they want, and keep us surprised. So, but anyway, guys, what do you think of the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.